In this week, I focus on the layout of the two rooms and the arrangement of the models. Also, I have added some models including museum lights and the models of containers. I have done some interactions such as grabbing and throwing and polished the player codes. With regard to the museum rooms, I have placed a series of containers as I want to accentuate the feeling of museums. Also, it can highly show how important the collection is to me. I found a few images regarding the glass containers in museums. I would like to highlight the feeling of minimalism, which I don't want to present a feeling of elegant or style of classic. Hence, cube shape will be my first choice. I built a container in Maya. In order to match the scale of the room, I arranged the container within the room to know the height of the container and the size of them. Furthermore, I built a cylinder beside each container as I can add some text on the board to display the description of each model. I redesigned the gallery as I want to add lamps on the ceiling of the room. Also, I want to design a suitable scale for the gallery. On the ceiling, player will see there are a bunch of squares. It's because I'm inspired by the reference of museums, as the lamp on the ceiling can be adjusted or moved to different positions. I use squares to create a bunch of flexible ways to move the lamps. Honestly, they can't be moved during the play, but it's a way to improve the feeling of realistic. I'm inspired by one of the scenes in Toy Story 1. The boy has an operation room, which is a wood room with a lot of messy toys. I adore the style of the room as the atmosphere of the scenes brings a sense of dark and intention. Also, the wood texture highlights a feeling of dirt. Thus, I built a room with a short corridors as I don't want the player to directly look through the room from the gallery. Small room can highlight the sense of intention and pressure. That's why the junk room displays smaller than the gallery. However, in order to improve the feeling of bad memory, I remember that I usually put the things that I don't want to see in the basement, or in other words, the bad memory. As basement always collect the bad things from my family, I create a stair to accentuate the basement, and this is the refined work. I add a function of grabbing and throwing by controlling the collider and rigid body of an object. Nevertheless, I have no idea why the object will fly away from the screen. I need to redo the function or even delete the functions if I can't solve it. The reason why I want to do the grabbing and throwing interactions is because I want player to interact with the parts of the robot. The part of the robot highlights the time of testing and failure during handcrafting. In addition, grabbing the part of robot displays a similar scene of how upset I am when I look at my object in my childhood. Furthermore, I didn't texture the part of robot in Substance Painter. Instead, I reused the previous material and add a code to each part of the robot, which the system will randomly give a material to each of them from the material file. In response to the Firefly models, I have learned a tutorial from a YouTube channel. Originally, I want to use particle system to highlight the effect of Firefly, but it will significantly increase the size of the project as each particle will become a 3D model, which is hard to run for the computer. Currently, they move too slow and there are too many in the scenes. Some models have left the container as well, which is not what I want. I need to polish that as well on my next progress. With regard to the particle systems, I also implemented the fire effect on the Terminator in order to enhance the feeling of burning, but I don't know why it looks so weird in the game scenes. As the fire goes big when I stand away from the object, and it goes small once again when I move toward it. It doesn't present a sense of realistic. I might need to do more research on that. In order to enhance the feeling of narrow and intention, I randomly arrange the model and play with the scale of the model. However, there is a distinct difference between the model on the right side and left side. In response to the order size, I try to highlight the feeling that what I want to present, but I'm not ready yet because of less confidence. The idea behind this model is from my childhood memory. I had a couple of models, but they didn't look good. So I didn't present to my parent at the time because I feel shame. Furthermore, I add a table in the junk room. The table highlights where I make my models and where the failure starts. The wood table textures strongly match with the wall textures and accentuate the feeling of depression as the wood table doesn't present a clear surface. For the next step is I'm going to add light as it can highly improve the feeling of a gallery and the junk rooms to accentuate the contrast between those two rooms as well. Next, I will polish their interactions such as the fire particles and the firefly systems. I'm not sure where I can figure out the grabbing and throwing systems, but I try my best to solve. The other things that I haven't started is the sound effect, as I can enhance the feeling of realistic. Players will feel strong on the interactions once the sounds produced in the scenes.